Is it over? Did Sam Howell blow it? Is his run as the Commanders quarterback done? I don't know. I don't know if the Commanders are going to draft a new quarterback in the draft. I can't tell you what Ron Rivera thinks or what their next coach thinks or what their next GM thinks. I can only tell you what was on the film. So I'm not going to dilly-dally. I'll tell you right away what I think. I think Sam Howell actually played pretty well. I mean, not well, but fine enough. Like a starting quarterback, like a solid starting quarterback. And I know you're thinking, like, how could that be possible? They played a bad defense and they barely moved the ball and they didn't score. So he got one touchdown pass and had an interception. How was he good? I thought he had 3 great throws. I'll show you him in the video. I thought he had 5 solid throws. Thought he threw the ball to the sticks pretty well. He was accurate on 64% of his passes. That's not good enough, right? He had 8 bad throws, in my opinion, plus one that totally should have been picked and wasn't. The picked ball, I thought it was bad, but I don't think it deserved to be picked. And I think that Terry McLaurin has a lot of blame in that play as well. Sam Howell got sacked. It wasn't his fault. Sam Howell had a throwaway. He's trying not to get sacked. He had 2 really nice runs. He didn't have any bad runs or ill-advised runs, and he navigated the pocket really well again. Didn't fumble. His accuracy downfield was below his standard, but it was still above the NFL league average. And he still had more positive plays than negative plays, although he did have way too many negative plays. This was not one of his best games, but he made some really big plays, and he avoided disastrous plays for the most part. That being said, I think that he started playing hero ball, and I think that it really hindered his ability to lead a comeback. I think that he got greedy. He's just trying to make something happen on every play, and that's not how football works. You don't always have a chance to make a big play. And if you try to force one, you're going to give the other team the ball. And that's literally exactly what happened. Overall, I gave Sam Howell a B-. Now remember, a C+ is an average starting quarterback. It's right there in the middle of the pack. If you have a C+ quarterback, you have like Andy Dalton with the Bengals, where you don't want to replace him, but he's probably not like the guy. I think Sam Howell was a little better than that. Just a little. If Sam Howell played like this in every game, I think that he would be an average, legitimate starting quarterback. You know, better than a bridge quarterback, but not a guy you necessarily want to build around. Just somebody you're waiting to get rid of, waiting to move on from. Kind of like Derek Carr was with the Raiders. This crazy year with the Saints excluded. But that's enough talking about what I saw. Let's show you what I saw. To the film. All right, first play we're going to see is going to be on second down and about, I don't know, let's call it 4. And it's a sprint out, right? So the only route, it's a one-man route. Like, Howell can't throw it back across his body to 40 in the middle of the field. It's basically Jahan Dodson on this out. And it's covered. Like, if you throw the ball to the receiver, it's a pick. And Terry McLaurin's on a curl here, trying to pull that defensive back away, but this is a failed play. Design doesn't work. Howell throws it away. Good job. There are worse things than a failed play on second and short, but now we get to third and short. There's some motion, right? Everybody shifts, but nobody comes across. It's zone. And unfortunately, because the Rams, as well as everybody else who watches tape, knows the Commanders can't protect for their life, the Rams know that they can condense the field, right? They can bring all of their players down into this, little box here because they know they don't have to worry about anybody going deep. Not because Howell can't throw deep and not because the Commanders can't run deep, but because they can't protect long enough. So Howell gets to the top of his 2-step drop, and look at what he's throwing to. Nobody's even remotely open. Ahkello Witherspoon, number 44 on the Rams, is holding the hell out of Terry McLaurin on the slant, but 1, the slant's not the first read, and 2, held or not, it's not open. So all Howell can do is make a bad pass. And that's a bad pass. You shouldn't make that throw. Step up, buy some time, do something else on third and short. But nobody's getting open. All right, this is going to be a routine throw, and I'm trying not to show you any of those, but top of the drop, where's Sam Howell supposed to go with this ball on second down? Who's open? Nobody. So the one time they do actually protect pretty well, Howell goes through his progressions, and he sees he's got nothing to throw to. And he does a good job of getting to the right decision, checking the ball down, getting a first down. That's a good job. That's actually really good processing and really good patience, not trying to force the ball. Unfortunately, as this game goes on, the Commanders fail completely around him, and Howell starts trying to force the ball. All right, 3rd and short, a few plays later. You're going to run a basic mesh, right? Dotson and the tight end are meshing over the middle. They're both running drags to opposite sides. Nobody's getting open deep, and it is zone. What does that mean? It means you can throw the ball to the tight end, and I personally would, because I know that 97 Hecht on the Rams is a converted defensive tackle, now linebacker. You heard that right. He didn't just kick from defensive tackle to edge. He kicked from defensive tackle all the way to off-ball linebacker, and he can't run. So yeah, throw the ball to the tight end. Get him in space. However, Howell doesn't want to make a contested catch pass like that. Howell doesn't want to make it difficult, and Howell says, basically, I got a tight end on a linebacker. Let him block him. I'll get 5 yards myself. And he does a good job. This is a plus pocket movement and a positive run. He does a good job of avoiding Aaron Donald, of all people, in the backfield, and a good job of picking up the first down. Solid job. So for those of you who have watched a lot of my videos, typically a 10-yard pass in the air is a solid pass. Here, this one's routine. I want you to see just how open Terry McLaurin is. That's why I don't give any hard and fast objective rules. It's all mushy. Because right there, anybody can make that throw. It is 10 yards downfield. It is on a dime. It is well thrown. But nobody's near him. So that's just why we do this subjectively play-by-play. Remember how I said earlier that the Rams are going to sit low on the zones because they know that the Commanders can't really threaten them deep? Check it out. Another play where we've got cover 3, 1 high safety, 1-on-1 on the outside, and Howell gets to the top of his drop, and now Aaron Donald is a free rusher. So yes, Howell has a second at the top of his drop to check the ball down. He does. You know, he's not completely under siege. He just doesn't have enough time for anything to actually set up. And as you can see at the top of the screen, Terry McLaurin is even with his cornerback. And when you have a guy who at least used to be a top 5 receiver in the NFL, if he's even, he's leaving. So Howell does a good job of throwing this ball. However, completely off his back foot so as to not die by the hand of Aaron Donald. This is tough. Do I want Howell to step through Aaron Donald, definitely get crunched, and maybe make a better throw? I don't know, because sometimes when you try to step through a guy who's as tough as Aaron Donald, the ball gets tipped and goes nowhere. Instead, Howell tries to fade away, and that's a really, really insanely, that's probably the hardest pass in football. A fadeaway jumper on a streak 30 yards downfield. Howell doesn't hit it. Let's see it from Howell's point of view, just because I want to show you guys exactly how quickly the pressure comes. Oh God, it wasn't even Aaron Donald. Is that Byron Young? Regardless, you got a defensive tackle running right through you. Even Will Levis, the strongest, toughest, biggest quarterback, is not going to truck through this defender while throwing the ball. So Howell's off his complete back foot. He lets this ball go at what? The 30-yard line? And it goes to a target on the 25-yard line. So I believe now it's 3rd down. Howell's at the top of his drop. And again, he's actually protected pretty well this time. But who's open? Listen, I love Terry McLaurin. I had him as a top 5 receiver coming into the year. He's not on the field. I love Jahan Dotson coming out of Penn State. I thought he'd be a really, really great slot receiver with excellent body control, a lot like Garrett Wilson. He's not. He's just not playing like that. Nobody's open. All of the players, all the receivers rather, are moving to the left of Sam Howell. That's not ideal when you're scrambling as a right-handed quarterback. So he's got nothing, right? You've got a tight end on a very, very slow developing over and up. But Howell's got to make do with his feet. And he does a good job, not a great job. He gets about 10 yards. So he puts you in position where you can go for it. However, we know that Ron Rivera is not going to. What is he supposed to do? Like, the pressure is certainly there. There's nowhere to throw the ball. You need 15 yards. There's nowhere to go. There's nothing to do. And he's a couple yards short. Here, ball's got to get out to the running back. I haven't even seen the rest of the play. Ball needs to get out to the running back at the top of the screen. Howell holds on to it. The running back at the top of the screen is now very far downfield. You've got to hit him. That's disappointing, but Howell makes a great throw. So this is bad processing, but a good throw. And this is tricky, right? Pocket holds up a little bit. Nobody open except for that running back who Howell needs to hit. I don't know why he never gets there, and this is one of the frustrating things about Sam Howell. Sometimes, as earlier in the video, he progresses really, really well, and sometimes he can't do it at all. But he's always got great arm talent. I mean, this is a 15-yard throw on a line. Excellent throw. Great throw. But the process was a little wonky. This play was frustrating because it looked like, and I believe this is 4th down, it looked like this was a guarantee. And if Howell just floats the ball to the tight end, he's got him. But he doesn't get the ball up high enough. And that's frustrating, right? Because you need about 5 yards, so you got to put some velocity on this ball. We'll see it from the tight angle. It'll show it better. You need to put some velocity on this ball. You can't just float it up there left-handed. But also, 18, this running back, has got to get some contact on 31. Like, this is really bad blocking, and it's a one-man route. There's nothing else for Sam Howell to do on that play. So yeah, it stinks. He's 6'1". He gets the ball batted. If he was 6'5", maybe it gets over. But there's not a lot more he could have done on that play. So we're going to be down by the Commander's own end zone, and it's now 3rd and long after 2 not-so-successful runs. Again, 3rd down, they take the ball out of Howell's hands. Yes, there is a 1st down to the tight end, but this is not a passing play. This is a screen. And yes, Howell misses on the screen. So it stinks. If this is a real passing play, Howell's going to hit the tight end. First of all, this is probably an ineligible man downfield anyway because the center is way too far downfield and not blocking, by the way, 53, who he should be blocking. This is a poor job by the center. Additionally, on a screen, the right tackle has completely been beaten to hell and has ceded a complete pressure. Howell has a man in his face while throwing this. Yes, it's a bad throw. It is also a unilateral failure by the right tackle and the center. It is remarkable how bad this offensive line is, even when they're playing a terrible defensive line like the Rams. So yes, bad throw, Sam Howell. Watch Andrew Wiley on the right tackle get just dominated. Dominated. One swipe, run right past him, and the defensive end was basically meeting Sam Howell at the back of his drop. Disgusting. This is going to be a great throw on the ensuing drive. 1st down, Sam Howell steps up and through pressure because his entire offensive line is in his pocket. They all lost at the same time. Runs up and makes a great anticipatory throw. Awesome zip, awesome accuracy, excellent throw. You'll see it from the tight copy here. This is what I love so much about Sam Howell. The ability to create, right? Aaron Donald in his face, don't matter. Step right up and through. Great pocket navigation. That's a plus pocket move. And then while running to his left, perfect throw. Right over the cornerback's hands, right into the tight end's chest. That's very, very good velocity and excellent accuracy. Can the Commanders catch a ball? On 3rd down, Terry McLaurin will answer our question. No, they cannot catch a ball. So I understand that you would like to see Sam Howell hit Terry McLaurin right here on this drag and keep the drive going. Because if he throws the ball right now, that will likely be a 1st down. However, I also understand Sam Howell hoping and praying that maybe his deep shot on the right-hand side on the top of the screen gets open and just giving himself an extra half a second. Now, this is where Sam Howell actually starts to play hero ball. You got 2 straight drops in a row on the prior 2 plays, and then here, McLaurin has a drop. Now, that ball's a little late. Howell allows his receiver to be hit when he didn't need to, but he was praying that the outside route would open up and he would get a deeper shot because he's down and he wants to gain a lot of yards. He's playing hero ball. But again, Terry McLaurin has to make that catch, whether he's the Terry McLaurin of 2 years ago, a top 3 receiver, or if he's just any old wide receiver 2 on any NFL football team. That needs to stay in his hands. That's a failure by Sam Howell's infrastructure again. And Sam Howell has not had as many highlights in this game as I would typically like to see from him, but that is a perfectly fine play that fails for reasons not his own. This is a fun one because people love talking about Sam Howell's pocket presence. So I ask you, where does he go with this ball? There's the top of his drop. He's not even, actually, this is the top of his drop. Here's where he should be making a decision. Where should he be going? Where's the opening? By the way, I've pressed play because typically after the sack, people come open. Nobody's open yet. Nobody ever got open. Howell never had a chance. It's a no-fault sack. I hate to say it, but Terry McLaurin's done. How the fuck do you drop? That's a good throw. That's a solid throw downfield. I'll show you the tight angle. This is a relatively tight window, especially for a quick slant like this. Howell puts a good ball on him, and Terry McLaurin just has a seizure. What is this? This is a pickable ball. Listen, I understand trying to hit. So this is cover 2, right? Let's break down the play. I'll be generous. I'll break down the play. So you got half field coverage from the safety, right? Because this safety's over here. And then this corner is going to run a streak with Terry McLaurin, right? So realistically, the only place you can put this ball is called a pot shot. You've got to gun it in right there with a lot of velocity so it gets there before this corner gets to that spot and before the safety can get over, right? It's very difficult. It's something Matt Stafford made a career out of. It looks easier to do on TV or on Madden than it really is to do. And Howell puts the ball roughly in that spot, just with not nearly enough velocity. And it's extremely pickable. Like, 2 dudes should have picked this ball. There's no excuse. Let's see it from Howell's angle on the tight copy, but this is egregiously bad. I understand the idea, and I like the idea, but this ball needs to be landing right now, not floating. He didn't put enough under it. He threw it too far upfield where the safety didn't have to make a drastic angle. This is getting greedy, right? You take a pot shot either when the safety is way too high or way too far inside to the middle of the field. Howell took a risky pot shot and he didn't put enough arm onto it. He didn't step into the throw. That needs to go the other way, and Howell got lucky. This is just another example of Howell having no time to set up. And this kind of frustration has to get to a guy, and I believe that's why starting right about now, Howell just goes into complete fuck it mode. I'm going to try to make a play. Something he had to do a lot his senior or junior season at UNC, and it leads to bad outcomes. He's got to roll out to avoid the pressure, right? I would have preferred he stepped left, but again, where are you throwing this ball? Who's open? Nobody's really open. So he rolls out, and he thinks he can make a play. Oh no, he did it. Note that. I got this confused with Howell's later interception, but this is a really good play. I don't love that he tried to roll out against the rush, right, to his right, but I understand not rolling to your left when all your receivers are to your right. So it makes a good play to extend, plus pocket movement, and it makes a good, solid throw to Terry McLaurin. Nice job. Where do you want him to go? It's a bad ball, but nobody could catch it, so it's not pickable. Good job not making it pickable. He's going for everything, hoping that Curtis Samuel can, or maybe that's De'Ami Brown. That's De'Ami Brown. Hoping that De'Ami Brown can make a play. It's a jump ball. De'Ami Brown doesn't even set up for it. De'Ami Brown's terrible. But whatever, it's just a bad pass. I have no problem with this. It's first down. You're trying to make a play. There's no real outlet, right? It looks like he's got an outlet to his left, but that's a tackle. Right? They got 6 men blocking in the pocket and then a tackle out to the left that you can't throw the ball to. That's 7-man protection, which means you've got 3 dudes to pass to, and and they didn't get open. Like, there's two guys right there blanketed hard, and then there's another running back out on the flank who's being covered one-on-one with a corner. That's Curtis Samuel, half a running back. There's nothing he can do. Here, great ball by Sam Howell. Good anticipation, sees the safety bite down, sees you've basically got a version of cover 3, guns it to the back. Love to see it. Great throw. And it looks like the receiver's wide open, but remember, the back boundary, the out-of-bounds line, is another defender. So it's actually relatively tight because he just has to get the ball 30 yards downfield quickly. That's a great throw. All right, first down. This game's basically over if the Commanders don't score. Howell does a great job of evading the rush. Literally breaks a tackle, rolls out left, gets back to the line of scrimmage. No, he didn't throw the ball downfield. Sorry. How is he supposed to do it when he's running for his life to his left? Not really exactly a throwing position. And he got more yards than if he would have thrown it away. So this is a neutral run with a plus pocket movement because, again, the left guard pushes the guy into Sam Howell. It's a really bad offensive line, and it's a bad defensive line, and the defensive line is still beating the hell out of this offensive line. I don't understand Eric Bieniemy continuing to use motion like this when every single play the Rams are running zone. Like, stop using motion. It does nothing. All right, Howell's taking a deep shot here. Top of the drop, actually a clean pocket. Nobody's actually open, but, F it. Throw it to your best guy. Throw it to Terry McLaurin. He's supposed to be elite. Leads him perfectly. Now, I would honestly argue this is defensive pass interference or else Terry McLaurin catches this ball. Right here. And Terry McLaurin doesn't catch the ball. Now, this is a tricky throw to grade. It's almost elite. It's almost amazingly perfect. The question is if Terry McLaurin should have caught it. I think I lean on it being a bad throw. I think it was overthrown, and overthrows are the worst kind of deep ball because there's, you can stop and wait for an underthrown ball. You can't really do much about an overthrow. One hand out, falling down, not the best tracking. Would have been an insane catch. Bad throw. It's a cruel world out here. I mean, the difference between Sam Howell throwing a 40-yard bomb on that last drive and possibly leading a scoring drive and, punting was maybe a foot. Maybe. And even then, Terry McLaurin didn't track the ball that well at the catch point and may have gotten tripped. So, completely understandably, Howell is in hero ball mode. Right? The game is basically over anyway. And the ball needs to be out right here. Right? I understand booting, whether it's designed or because you're escaping pressure. McLaurin and the running back are both open, and they need to get the ball right now. It's probably a first down if he does. But he waits, and he wants when Sam Howell motions like that, here, you'll see it again. So right here, Sam Howell's going to wave. What he wants McLaurin to do is bend back up, because look at this gigantic void, right? There's nobody over here, and that's what Sam Howell wants to attack. McLaurin does a really shitty job of recognizing that. And McLaurin just runs back to the middle of the field, which is the worst possible thing he can do, by the way. Never, ever during a scramble drill run away from your quarterback. This is McLaurin utterly failing. But at this point, Howell has already decided he's going to McLaurin, and this is Howell failing. I understand throwing the ball to McLaurin here because he's your number one guy, but your running back is right here. If he doesn't get a first down, he's at least got a 5-yard gain, right? So you live to fight another day. But at this point in the game, Sam Howell is so committed to making a play because he feels like the only way they're going to do anything is if he puts all the weight on his shoulders. And it's hero ball, and it's really dangerous, and it's what gets Josh Allen into trouble as well. So Howell wanted McLaurin to go upfield, and McLaurin never did, which is why Howell leaves the ball upfield. By the way, Howell being hit as he throws, that's 2 plus pocket movements on this play, 1 to escape and 1 to throw while being hit. So it looks like Howell misses badly, and McLaurin makes a valiant effort to catch the ball, but really, McLaurin ran back flat across the field when he should have bent up. What does that mean? Well, what we wanted McLaurin to do is run here to this gigantic fucking hole in the field. But McLaurin doesn't do that because McLaurin has been really not very good this year. So instead, McLaurin just doubles back like this, right across the field, flat, right back into two defenders, which is nuts. The throw that Sam Howell thought he was making was he thought McLaurin was going to kind of bend back on a slant, earning a few extra yards, and that would bring McLaurin further upfield, therefore making this throw accurate. This is bad miscommunication. It's really, really bad job by McLaurin because he just doesn't handle the scramble drill well. But it's also not a good job by Sam Howell because he's too anxious, too eager to get those big plays. He's trying to do too much rather than just taking the check down. And I get it. You're down 20 points. However, as you'll see, McLaurin doesn't obey. McLaurin flattens his route, runs away from the ball, and it becomes a tipped ball interception. Now, that's not Sam Howell's fault at all. It's a bad throw because even though McLaurin probably should have run upfield and therefore caught the ball, it still would have been a bad decision because you have the easy check down to your running back who's on the sideline uncovered. Take the 5 yards, move to the next play. Howell does a great job of processing, a good job of rolling out, a really good job of trying to create miscommunication with McLaurin, interception. Not a turnover-worthy play at all. He only had one, the dropped interception. That being said, it could have been an easier play. He could have thrown to the running back. And I think that the reason Sam Howell got pulled is because he was trying to do too much. Some of the less intelligent Commanders fans were rabidly saying that the offense looked the most efficient it ever has with Jacoby Brissett. Well, there's one of his 4 passes. Super impressed? Turns out when you're down 20 points in the fourth quarter, it's pretty easy to move the ball because of prevent defenses and general apathy. Pass number 2, ton of time. They're not blitzing. They're only rushing 3, and you've got 5-6 men in to cover, block. Yeah, Jacoby Brissett throws the out. We'll call it a solid throw. It is a solid throw. He had tons of time for a reason. Watch how they bail out of this blitz. It's 3 dudes rushing. 56 was mugging, right? He's just handling the chip. 3 dudes rushing. 6 men blocking. 7 men blocking, really. Ton of time. Yes, he makes the 10-yard throw. That's not... I'm not creaming my shorts. It's certainly nothing that Sam Howell couldn't do. Here, again, weak rush, ton of time in the pocket. Throws a solid throw against soft coverage. None of this is very impressive. Now, this throw is actually very nice, and Jacoby Brissett deserves some flowers for it because it's got great touch and it's a good decision. Now, his tight end was also wide open in the middle of the field. Kind of nothing against the throw, just goes to show that maybe the Rams don't care if they let up 7 points because they have a 20-point lead. And it's not a perfect throw. Terry McLaurin goes and makes a sick catch. This is actually not well placed at all. This is very underthrown. McLaurin has to stop and moss a guy. That's a solid throw, nothing more. Once again, ton of time. Still a 14-point lead. Not exactly the tightest coverage. McLaurin gets away with a little push-off. Solid throw. And this will be the final play, but once again, absolute ton of time in the pocket. Max protection. They had 6 dudes blocking. And Terry McLaurin on a designer route gets wide open on a busted coverage. Right? This number 4 safety in the middle of the field right here. Went the wrong direction. That guy is supposed to be bailing out and playing half-field coverage. He doesn't. Nobody's covering Terry McLaurin. It's an elite throw. Fantastic. Perfectly placed. Good job. But let's not pretend like this is Jacoby Brissett doing anything special. So again, I'm not going to make a whole chart for the 4 or 5 passes that Jacoby Brissett made, but they were largely very routine plays. Throws to his first read from very clean pockets with very soft coverage about 8 to 10 yards downfield. He did have 2 deep balls to Terry McLaurin. One actually wasn't placed very well, and Terry McLaurin had to go make a sick play on the ball. If only Terry McLaurin had that kind of ball playing ability in earlier in the game when Sam Howell threw him some more accurate deep balls. Additionally, Jacoby Brissett did have 1 dime down the field on a busted coverage, but it was a busted coverage. So yes, the Commanders moved the ball way better with Jacoby Brissett than they have with Sam Howell or hell, even Joe Theismann. Like that was the best any team has ever moved the ball under a quarterback's reign because they were playing prevent defenses. And yes, Jacoby Brissett moved the ball down the field quickly, but the Rams didn't care because they still won by more than a touchdown. There's a reason that I don't grade garbage time and prevent defense plays. I don't think they're indicative because even when defenses run aggressive coverages in those scenarios, they don't care. Once again, I think Sam Howell played pretty well. And I think that the reason he got pulled wasn't because he was bad. I think the reason he got pulled is because they realized, the coaching staff that is, realized Sam's playing reckless out there. He feels like he's got to do everything. He's playing hero ball. Let's not get him hurt. Let's not make him make any more bad habits by trying to do too much. Just get him out of there. We got another game next week. He'll be back. There's a reason I think Sean McVay even said after the game, I still think Sam Howell's really good. Because Sam Howell's really good. I mean, I've graded 14 games now this year, and he's got a 3.0 average, which is a straight B, right on the dot, a B quarterback. And you know how many quarterbacks are at a B grade or better this year? Like 7, maybe 8. Sam Howell's a top 10 quarterback, and this performance was one of his worst, maybe his worst, definitely his worst in about a month. And that's a really good thing. If your quarterback's worst game looks like that, you have a really good, consistent quarterback. I don't think this game was any worse at all than his game against the Giants in week 7. I think that this is better than his game against Buffalo, obviously. Hell, I think it's better than his debut this season in week 1 against Arizona. But 7 times in 14 games, Sam Howell's turned in a really awesome performance. And that's way better than damn near anybody else can say. So if you came here because you think that I'm going to eat crow on believing in Sam Howell, you couldn't be any more wrong. And if you think that Sam Howell played really poorly in this game, I think you might need to take a step back because I think that you might be reacting to the result of the game, a loss, rather than how he actually played. I don't think you'd be accounting for the drops. I don't think you'd be accounting for just how close he was to hitting that 1 deep shot to Terry McLaurin and just how unlucky he was to be picked off on the play he was picked off on. There's a lot wrong with this Commanders team, but I think the thing that they are least plagued with is quarterback play. I think that Sam Howell is easily the best thing going for this team. And I hope the Commanders agree, because I'd hate to see a great talent squandered, but it wouldn't be the first time. All right, till next time, I'm going to be watching Baker Mayfield film, because that's another guy that people told me couldn't play. And I just trusted the film. All right, hasta.